Hey guys, there's a social media platform Gary Vee says is going to blow up in the next 5 to 10 years, so you may want to know about it before other people do. What is it? Well, on other social media platforms, I've been posting bits and pieces of this new thing, this brand new thing. And by brand new thing, I mean this new app that came out in 2015 called Anchor. Anchor is known to be literally the easiest way to start a podcast, which is essentially a response to all my friends out here going, bro, I'm gonna start a podcast. I'm just kind of figuring out, everything. Because seriously, most podcasts have your basic stuff, right? There's a studio mic, there's a windscreen, audio interface, an amp, some mic stands, headphones, a mixer, a boom arm, camera that costs, I don't know, maybe like a check or 2 or 8. All that simple stuff, right? Fuck no. That shit is complicated and nobody wants to start their own podcast nowadays with the inconvenience of all that. Anchor is literally the opposite of what I just described. All you need is a phone. That's all. You guys know the original goal of Instagram was, in the founder's words, to make photography as convenient as holding a pencil. And I feel like Anchor is kind of like that, but for podcasts instead of photography. What do you do on it? Well, it's kind of like YouTube, but for audio. Here, let me show you. There's a bunch of other shit I'm pretty sure you can do on it. When you use an app, most likely you'll open it first. So let's do that. Okay, now what? I'm starting to see all these floaty words floating around to the left, where everything you own can be found in a box. And if you tap on one of them, online dating, you can find a co-host, which I have yet to try. Apparently it just links you up with someone who's interested in discussing that same thing. You can also invite friends, and let's be honest, most of your friends probably aren't quite as cool as you are, so they might not have Anchor yet. And if they do, well, this option is on the table. Or you can just start recording like they say on the sets of Nike commercials. But to keep it simple, I am going to hit just start recording. Hey guys, this is an example of a recording on Anchor. I'm just trying to introduce 2 platforms to each other here. If you are watching this, say hello to all my current and future listeners. And if you are listening to this, say hello to all my current and future subscribers and all the people who see my videos and they're like, dude, is this kid on drugs? Can someone please tranquilize him? That'd be funny if right after I said that I got tranquilized. Actually, I don't know if it would be, but let's move on. Then you can preview your audio. You can actually look for background music and stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm going to be experimenting with this pretty soon, especially if they have nature sounds. I love those. From there, you can add it to an episode. Each episode has its own parts. They are called segments. I'm going to call this segment, Can Somebody Please Tranquilize Him? Okay. Add recording to episode. And then they throw you this giant block full of unfilled boxes at first. It's kind of overwhelming, but you get used to it. I like to kind of plan everything out. So I have the episode title. The earlier the better. It's got to get done eventually anyway. I'm going to call it Anchor Recording Example for YT. And in the description, I'm going to put, dude, this kid is on drugs. Because that's what they say, right? I mean, you can't misspell words like that if you're not on drugs, right? Or if you don't really have autocorrect. And then you have the option to distribute externally to Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, etc. Whatever the fuck that means, etc. For all we know, they could have 500 different places they distribute it to. It's probably listed in their user agreement or something. They recommend it though, and I think I'm systemizing mine to the point where, all my official episodes are already distributed, so I already do it. And I recommend doing it from the start, just so you can get used to the habit of dropping something like it's no big deal, and then just moving on from there. When it comes to social media, in my experience, that's actually really healthy, because it can prevent a lot of potential anxiety and insecurity. To be honest, nobody's gonna hear this shit till you're famous anyway, and people are selling recordings of your first podcast episodes on Amazon, which is just free promotion. So think of it like an investment. I have Facebook and Twitter sharing turned off. I'll explain why in a little bit. So I put not yet, and if you go to your profile in the lower right hand corner of the screen, you see the episode. Tap on that. I don't know why it doesn't if you put in the name of the episode, for some reason it just kind of corrects it to the date, whatever you do. Yeah, if you tap on the segment, the little 3 dots, you can actually share the link, assuming it's published and done and everything. You could add it to another episode, which we're not going to do. You can rename it, which I am going to do. There's a little typo I added on purpose, just so I could rename it. you know, like an AG. That's an abbreviation for anticipatory gangster. But in the middle, there's something called create video. This is one of the best things Anchor has done recently, especially with ways of self-promotion. And when you create a video of your segment or any segment, at the end it typically looks like this. Out of 2,000 offices, it was the worst performing office. They all did such shitty jobs. They put all of their managers, every single one of them, out of business. So they heard about this friend of Brian's, and he was considered raw meat. The first business meeting, he was like, so they actually transcribe the audio for you, but I'm kind of a neat freak, so I like to make sure everything looks perfect with the grammar and all that other stuff. This can take a little bit of time, a couple minutes. The longer the segment, the longer it takes to transcribe and generate, which is what you do after transcribing and picking a color. I like red. Red's at the bottom. I like red because my favorite color reminds me of my personality. If your personality were a color, by the way, I want you guys to comment what color it would be. I want to see what color everybody's personality is. Red, orange, yellow, green, purple, pink, whatever they got out there. Then you can have them notify you when the video is generating. I've had issues with this, but that's because of the length of the segments I've tried. I honestly just kind of re-record the important part in a new segment of a new episode and transcribe that and make a video out of it. I've tried making videos out of 2-minute segments or longer, and I waste like 20 minutes working on the transcription and waiting for them to do everything, only for them to be like, sorry, we can't really make your video. So, shit. If you have a segment longer than 3 minutes, it's not even an option to transcribe it. It kind of sucks, but Anchor is like a newer app. Mark Zuckerberg actually said at his Harvard commencement speech that nobody should be expected to know all the answers and just be amazing at things up front. And shit, like look at Facebook now. Cool, it's ready. It's a lot better than it used to be. I'm confident we will be able to say the same thing about Anchor in 15 to 20 years. I believe it'll be worth the investment. So from there, this is actually pretty cool. They give you the option to download the video in a format that fits Instagram posts, Instagram and Messenger stories, and I think Snapchat as well, and one that fits Facebook. Hey guys, this is an example of a recording on Anchor. I'm just trying to introduce two platforms to each other here. If you are watching this, say hello to all my current and future listeners, and if you are listening to this, say hello to all my current and future subscribers, and all the people who see my videos and they're like, dude, this kid on drugs, can someone please like tranquilize him? That'd be funny if right after I said that. Now, why is Anchor so important? The reason Anchor is so important is because it's audio. Audio is kind of like taking the internet by storm right now. Right now, 20 to 25% of searches are done by voice. By 2020, it'll be 50%. By 2020, apparently 30% will be done without the use of a screen. I don't know how that's gonna work, but you and I are gonna find out, and we'll take advantage of it because we believe in opportunity. That's why you're watching this anyway. If you wanna make a change in the world, if you got a message, maybe you wanna send it to other platforms, a little overwhelming maybe you want to explore and find a new means of content creation. I use Anchor for pretty much all those reasons. I want to expand and deepen my footprint. Now, why is audio getting so big? Well, when you have all these things people are constantly doing every day that don't involve a screen, the thing with audio is it adds ability to further your output of action because it's passive. You can listen to it while you're mowing the lawn, walking the dog, going grocery shopping, listening to your girlfriend talk. No, I'm kidding. Unless it's her podcast. Driving down a route you're very familiar with, and you can talk while you're doing those things too. Well, most of them. That's part of the reason Amazon Echo, HomePod, Google Home, all these smart speakers with a voice, they're getting really popular. Audio is the future, and so is video. That's why I'm filming this with a 4K camera I just got, called the Lumix G7 by Panasonic. I don't know how I feel about the audio, but iMovie can kind of fix that, but that's also why YouTube is expected to grow a lot in the next couple years, because video is also kind of the future. That's why I'm making a bunch of YouTube videos all of a sudden. That's why I'm putting so much time into Anchor as well. So I seriously recommend getting Anchor. I'll link you guys to my Anchor station in the description. I do a couple little podcasts on there. There's Learnings, which is the big one. I take notes and write commentary on hours of self-educational videos on YouTube, of course. It's kind of like actual real news, but it's square. Then there's Insights, which are basically audio recordings of a lot of these videos. I write them all out, they're scripted at the moment. And then there's Eruptions, which are pretty much rants. I don't like complaining about things without joking and laughing about it, treating it like it's not actually that big of a deal. And I hate complaining about things without offering a straight up solution. So I try to make it all very entertaining, and I try to end everything on a very positive note, positive, empowering note. Because if everything's positive all the time, I wouldn't be Samuel. How do you get started? There's a great podcast on there I'll link you to in the description. It's called I Should Start a Podcast. I listen to all the material
material on it. Like yesterday, I got lots of great ideas. I'm gonna be implementing them in the next couple of weeks. It's actually run by a guy on Anchor's production team. So this guy is incredibly smart. He knows his shit. You can tell how passionate he is about what he does. He's not much like me in the sense that I feel like most simple-minded people could probably actually understand what he says. Most further questions you probably have, I'm willing to bet that they've been answered during the course of the podcast I just mentioned, which I find extremely well put together. So that's my introduction to Anchor. Are you guys gonna get it? Why wouldn't you? It's free just like all these other platforms. And all you need is your phone, and you can start your own podcast at the tap of a screen. Are you already on Anchor? Link me to your station in the comments. I wanna see what you guys are talking about. You can actually send voice messages on there instead of written ones. At the moment, it's only voice messages, so it's not just like Facebook where it's kind of like you can send whatever the fuck you want. It's a very unique platform, guys. So if you have any questions in general, please feel free to hit me up. There are links at the bottom of the description to all my social media. Make sure to leave a like if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. If you could turn on the bell to get a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.